Hello, everybody. So, today we will learn more about curves and we will also make a procedural gear with geometry nodes. Now, this is our starting scene and we have a cube. We will delete the cube, of course, and let's add a plane. Now, we will go to geometry node and let's create the group input and the group output and let's also merge this section. Now, the first thing that we will do is we need a curve. So, right now we have a mesh and what we are trying to do is we are trying to build a gear and we need a curve for that. So what I will do is I will simply search a node. It is called mesh to curve. And this will basically convert our mesh into a curve. Now you don't believe me, fine, but we can use our curve related nodes here. And we already know what the resample curve does. It basically creates 10 points. So right now we have 10 points for our plane. And I hope you already know where these points are. So there are 2 points here, 2 points here, and the remaining 6 points are in between. How can we know that? We can know that by doing an instance on points, and in every instance, we will add a cube. And this is too big right now, so let's make it point 0.1. And so these are the 10 points that we have. Now, why are these two aligned differently? Because anyway, this is a curve and this is not a mesh. So yeah, this is kind of how it analyzes the curve to be. Now, we don't really need these things. I was just showing you. So I will simply delete these three nodes. And what I will do is I will add a node called a star. Now, this is also a curve and I will simply like add it to our group output and we do see a star here. And actually we also don't need the group input and the mesh to curve because any of our default meshes they cannot be used for creating a gear. I mean, we can use the circle or the cylinder, but we are not going in that way. So I think we can remove these things also. Later, if required, we can simply add it. So we have a star, and the next thing that we will need is what I call, not what I call, but Blender has. It's called a fillet curve, and it already kind of looks like a gear. And we'll just increase the radius to zero point 0.5. This looks ugly. So, yeah, something that makes sense, like something like zero point 0.2. So this is basically the radius that it is cutting away at the, so if it is low value, it is like the original one. And this is how it is working basically. So I think zero point 0.2 is fine. Now, in the curves also, we can do a joint geometry. And why is this required? I will show you. Because there is a wheel or a quadrilateral generally at the center of our gears. So what I will do is I will add a curved circle. Now, if I simply add it here, we won't be having the star. And so we need the joint geometry and we can do it like this. Now the circle looks too big. So what I will do is I will just decrease the radius to 0.75 maybe. Yeah, something like this looks good. And after the joint geometry, we still have a curve. Here, what we can do is we can do fill curve. And so the basic shape of our gear is now ready. And instead of a curved circle, we can also add a quadrilateral. And this is also a curve primitive. And instead of the circle, if we add the quadrilateral, let's remove this one and this one. So, um, and let's make it as 1 and 1. So it will become a gear like this one. So both are fine, or we can create two gears also. So maybe what I can do is I can simply grab this one. This is the plane right now, and let me duplicate it and GY, and let's bring it here. And so in this one, what we will do is we will add a circle. So basically, we have to copy all our geometry nodes also. So let's copy everything. And so for this one, we have this one, this geometry node. And for the next one, we will need another one. We cannot use this one. So let's create the number and we have the geometry nodes one. Now, if I just remove this one, only this one will get removed, and this can be a quadrilateral. So now we have two different kinds of cogs or gears or whatever. And now our gears don't have any depth, so we have to add a depth. And adding a depth is very easy. And there is a modifier, it's called solidify. We can just add the solidify and let's make it as 0.5, let's say. 0.5. So I think it's a good amount of thickness. Maybe zero point 0.4 is better. I mean, whichever it is, you decide. And same for this one. Or we can also make it thinner or thicker. Maybe this one can be a little bit thicker. So again, solidify. And maybe this one can be 0.5. So this one is like a little bit thicker and it is coming downward. So maybe we can just keep it little bit above. GZ, maybe like little bit. I just zoom in. GZ, something like this. Now, one more thing to show you is let's select our geometry nodes. So, so in our star, there is something called a twist. So if both of these gears are rotating in the opposite direction, we can add some sort of a twist. So if I just add a twist, you can see the gears will become like this. So for example, let's add a minus 15 degree of twist. Maybe it's too much, maybe minus 12 degrees of twist. And here we will have the twist in the other direction. So let's add it here. The twist. Uh, hmm. So this one is minus 12 and this one is also what about plus 12? No, I think this one suits better because we will be rotating them in the two different directions. Yeah. And what we can do is do something like this. We can bring the gear here so that they kind of look like they're aligned or something like that. Maybe a little bit coming close. Now, one last thing that is remaining is we want to rotate our gears also. We just don't want to make our gears. So rotating is very easy. We can do a transform geometry and let's bring our animation layer. I think a rotation of 60 frames is good enough. Let's not overdo it. And we want to rotate our Z. We want to rotate like this. So this one will rotate like this. And this one will rotate like this. Or maybe this one will rotate like this. Let's also bring it. So a transform geometry. So one will rotate in the negative. So like this. Actually, it looks like it will rotate in this way. And so the other one will rotate in the opposite way. So here it will rotate in the negative. Okay, let's see how it works. So we will add a keyframe here by clicking on I. And when we are at frame number 60, let's make the Z as 90. And we will add another keyframe here. Now, why I'm doing 90 and not at 360? Because in every quarter, uh, our gear is actually same. So if I divide our gear into 4 parts, so every quarter looks same. So 90 degree will be fine. So this is kind of a shortcut that I'm doing. So again, in 0, it is I. No, not in 60. In 60, it is 90. And when I am at 0, this should be 0. So now if I run, I think there is some overlap happening, right? And both are in the same direction. Actually, one should be moving in the other direction. So this one is moving in this way, and this one is moving in this way. One should be in the opposite. Let's make the first one in the opposite only. So this will be this one. Let's make it minus 90 and I. Now let's see. Yeah, now this looks much better. And I don't see an overlap. So I think this is how it should be. And one last thing, and that is for our star, we do have something called points. So what this will basically do is this will basically increase or decrease, like how many spikes we want to have. So it will make the gear something like this. This will look weird because we lost the symmetry. Half will still work, but this one will not work. So four will look like this. I don't think this looks good. And now 12 is showing some weird behavior because the inner radius is way too small or something. So yeah, I mean to say we can experiment with these things with the points inner and outer radius. So that's it for this flow. And I will see you soon with another very interesting Blender video. So see ya.